Hello, everyone. Welcome to the DMV Business Show. I'm your host, Otto Sevilla, and today I have two very special guests for you, two partners, Julius Islam and Kochi Rashid. They're the owners of Hangry Burger. Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Thank you for having us.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Otto. Thank you so much. It's an honor.
Thank you. The pleasure's all mine. So, before we go into sort of your personal journey, guys, if you can give the audience, in case they haven't heard of Hangry Burger, what is Hangry Burger?
I'll let Julius go on this one. How about
Well, Hangry Burger is pretty much an idea that came up in a situation where friends can hang out, get a food, get a drink, and chill. And the story behind is that Kochi and I, having friends from all different ethnic background and dietary backgrounds and needs, we could never go to a burger spot and be like, okay, you know what? We want to get a burger, but we don't want beef. We want vegetarian, or some people eat halal. Some people also wants to get an alcohol. We could never hang out at a burger spot. And Kochi and I, who has been in the industry for a while, when both of us decided to open something, we're like, let's open a place where we can have our friend come and hang out. I'm pretty sure people in the community, they would like to invite their friends and hang out in the burger spot where they don't have to pick and choose between, hey, have beef, just a beef, or go some other place just to get chicken. That's pretty much the general idea. And Hangry Burger was just born out of that. So we can have our family friends come in and hang out with us. And it just grew.
Yeah. I mean, I will add a little bit to it. When we would have friends and family over either one of our house, and we would have the gathering and eat food and stuff, and we both always disliked the cleaning afterwards. So we wanted to have a common place so we don't have to do cleaning afterwards when we hang out. So it'd be established place, where everybody can enjoy at all ages. Everybody's welcome. And it's fun, and try different variety of burgers that we have on the menu.
I love that. And you guys started it a little while ago, right? A couple of years back?
Correct.
Yeah,
go ahead, Julius.
We started in November 2021. The restaurant opened in 2021, but the idea was in discussion in 2018. So it's took a long process to finally start the restaurant.
Right. 2021 was COVID started in 2020. So I have to give you for having the strength to start a business like this during this time.
Well, we're definitely we're kind of scared, like kind of wanted to like pull the plug. And there's time we talked about it, pulling the plug after like initiative cost that we already have paid. But after like giving a deep thought, we went. I'm a risk taker out of the two, so and we just went with it, see what happens.
Yeah, so we also signed our lease in 2019 November, just before COVID hit.
Oh my gosh.
So as soon as COVID hit in 2020, we had asked to delay the whole thing a little bit, which landlord agreed. But I mean, meantime, in 2020, we decided, Coach and I had went back and forth, like, do you want to continue this? I think we can still back out the lease. But at the end, we decided, like, listen, it's now or never. If we pull out of this, we back out. I don't think we're ever going to go for it. Right. So we're like, we're so far down. Let's just go with it, and we'll start from. We'll see where it goes. So yeah, we just never backed out.
That's great. I applaud you guys for continuing to move forward, just because I know that was not an easy time for many of us, especially for a new business in a restaurant. And I don't know if you, when you went into, was it a second generation restaurant space, or did you have to do the complete build out?
Oh, we had
it was a complete build out. 2021 was rough.
We actually learned as we build it too, and still learning from it. I mean, I have experience. So does Julius. So did Julius. In the restaurant and food industry business, and our working as a bartender and managing. but never owned to our own establishment, and it's a different ball game. Having an experience. I mean, I had 17 years, and Julius had 3-4 years. Even though so, we struggled and learned and moved forward with it.
Yeah, every day is a new learning experience, I'm sure.
Oh, definitely, that's for sure.
So
It's exciting.
yeah, well, I want to now focus a little bit more on you individually. Are you both from around the DC, Maryland, Northern Virginia area?
I'll let you go. Kochi first is the older one.
Thanks, Julius. Yeah, well, I was born in Bangladesh, moved here in 1991 when I was 17. Excuse me. I have my dogs.
Okay.
And then grew up in Virginia Beach, Virginia, then moved to DC area in 2000. And I got a government job at the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office in 2006, where I met Julius. He worked there as well, and then we became best friends, and ever since.
Oh, that's great. So you guys working for the government. I mean, you met working for
correct.
the government. Okay.
Correct. Yes. And I think that's part. And we took on this adventure. And here we are.
What about you, Julius?
Same, just like Kochi. I was 18 when I moved here, but that was in 2000. I moved in Maryland. So I lived in Maryland because I went to College Park for my undergrad. So I lived in Maryland from 2000 to 2006 when I got a job in the patent office, and then I moved to Virginia. And ever since, I'm living in Virginia. So I mean, I pretty much lived most part of Northern Virginia and most part of Maryland, close to the DC. So at this point, I just call myself a local, but it's been like over 20 years since I've been living in DC now.
Are you also originally from Bangladesh?
Yes, I'm from Bangladesh too.
Different areas or same town, same area?
I think or both the parents are in the capital, Dhaka, but I don't think they knew each other. I mean, it was kind of big city too. So
yeah,
but
probably
yeah,
different.
We both grew up in Dhaka. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely different neighborhoods, but in the same city.
How was it? If I can just briefly take you back to Bangladesh, both of you, how was it growing up back then? Like, what were you into? What did you like?
I mean, it's a totally different environment. And growing up, I would say no. I mean, at that time, it was definitely a third world country. Small, packed, very heavy populated neighborhoods and city. It was a different time frame, different part of life that I didn't mind growing up, but I wouldn't go back and do it.
Of course.
After from this lifestyle.
I mean, that's why we're all here. I'm also an immigrant myself. So, I mean, that's why we come, most of us, to this country for that opportunity, right?
Correct. Yes, definitely.
Yeah. What about for you, Julius? How was it Bangladesh growing up as a child?
I mean, I mean, when you grow up in some place, it's fun. So I'm very much used to, because I grew up in a big crowded city, I'm very much used to city life. I can't live too far from the city or the convenience of that. However, there's still a huge lifestyle adjustment that I had to make. The comfort is much more here. And the life, we're not super comfortable back home, but we're not really like super struggling either. Mm-hmm. It was in borderline. So we're much more appreciative of the things that for the first time we moved here and things that we got here. The fact that we had an AC in the house was a big thing. So like the small things we appreciated a lot more when it came to America, because we realized the comfort is much higher here.
Sure, yeah. Sure. When you both arrived here to this country, was that your first time ever coming to America?
For me, it was for first time ever going to any other country.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. My family didn't travel a whole lot. Mm-hmm. My dad was away working overseas in Middle East. And my mom actually raised me and my brothers by herself. But, my dad would come visit once a year. but yeah, definitely better here than I mean, it was, like I said, it was different lifestyle that I didn't mind growing up because I didn't know any better. I had never been to anywhere else until moved here. Then I can comparison wise now and then. It's two different lifestyle, two different life, but neither one of them is, I would say bad or anyway. It's a life experience, and I cherish it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I agree with you 100%. Do you still have a lot of family back home?
I do. Most of my dad's side of the family, they're in Bangladesh, and most of my mom side of the family, they're here actually.
So do you ever travel often back there or not really?
Oh, I have been there twice so far. Every 10 years I go. So I was there right before the COVID, and I got back, I think, a week before the COVID actually canceled all the flights.
Good timing.
Yeah, great timing. Yeah. So that was, I mean, it's different than how it was 10 years ago. So I can see, I guess the internet brought the influence of the worldwide of different, either Eastern influence or Western influence. You can see the whole changes, providing a different, I would say, lifestyle than when I was growing up. So that was kind of like, interesting to me.
What about for you, Julius?
No, this is my first time. That was 2000 was my first time out of the country. We didn't have the financial means to travel outside the country. We're just not capable of that. So I mean, that was the first time for us. And I haven't gone back since 2007. 2007 was the last time I went back. And I was planning to go back, then the COVID hit, we had a baby, and things just got crazy, and we just, with the restaurants, and plan just got postponed.
Sure. I know you said you went to College Park in Maryland. I also graduated from there. What'd you end up majoring in?
Mechanical engineering.
Oh, so you're very smart then.
Oh, no. We passed.
No, he's good with numbers. Definitely good with numbers.
That's good, Kochi. I remember I did economics. I did econ at College Park, and
okay.
I remember a lot of people would come from econ, former engineers, or they were in comp sci, computer science, and they would come to econ, and their math and number skills were just so far superior. A lot of economic classes would be in a curve back then. I don't know if they still are that way. And they would just mess up the curve for all of us. And all of us would be frustrated. We're like, oh my God, all these engineers and comp sci people coming into econ, just because they would be easier for them, I assume.
Well, that was for me in high school, actually. So I actually graduated from high school in Bangladesh. Then I was ready to enter college. And that's when my parents decided to move to the States. And because I couldn't speak English very well, I mean, I could read and write, but speech was not my strong thing at that time. So I had to go back to high school here, and and so I was great with math, getting A pluses, and like you said, increase the curve, change the curve entirely, and the entire class would hate me.
So what year did you graduate, Otto, if you don't mind asking?
Sure. I graduated College Park in 2006.
Oh, the same year. Go
really?
Terps. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
06. Yep.
Yeah. It was econ was in the behavioral and social science school, if I remember.
Where did you get the graduation? It's not the soccer, the indoor soccer one, or the big Comcast one. Where did you have your graduation? We had the smaller soccer, the one next to the cafeteria, that road. We didn't have our graduations, the big Comcast building.
No, I didn't either. I had mine. No, gosh, it was some theater behind McKeldin.
The library?
So there's the library, and behind the library, there's all these other buildings. I can't remember. It was like a theater. It was in a theater though. I didn't even know. We didn't make it to the Comcast.
Yeah, ours was not in the Comcast. I know all the business schools had the Comcast. We were actually in the smaller like they play indoor soccer complex, but it is next to the football stadium, and right past the cafeteria. And I know they're doing it was pretty smaller venue. That's where we had ours. So
Yeah.
I was wondering what did the econ, which building the econ had there.
I can't remember the
outside
name of the
the-
building. It was so long
yeah, same
ago.
here. I don't know the name of our building too. I don't even know if that building still exists right now, because I know they used to play indoor soccer in that one or something, but I don't know that building still exists.
Yeah. So you guys met working together with the government, and then you guys became good best friends. And then what happened after?
Yeah, actually, there's a funny story on that, because we both joined at the same time, but we didn't know until like about a year.
I would say 6 months or so.
Yeah,
Yeah, we started in 06. By the time, like,
yeah, I would say 6 months or so. We didn't know, but we joined at the same time. But the funny story is that when we actually met through our mutual friends, and then I asked Julius, like, what building do you work? And he answered, it's like, oh, Randolph building, which is the same building as I. And was it Randolph? Right?
Knox
Knox building.
Knox,
And,
yeah. I was in the second.
the same building. It's like, yeah, what floor? And he was like, third floor. It's like, I'm on the third floor too. And then it's like, where is your office? So it turns out his office was across from my office, but through the pantry-way.
Yeah, literally right across.
Like, yeah, we're literally right across. But
we never met each other in the office, like in 6 months that we worked there, till somebody, like, we met through a mutual friend outside work. Then we're like, that's strange.
Yeah. Wow, what a coincidence.
Yeah. So ever since then, we're brothers, friends, best friends, business partners.
So you were mentioning earlier, you guys were hanging out with friends, and then as far as how the idea behind the concept of Hangry Burger, and there was really, like you said, there was only beef, and wasn't much options for whether veggies or halal or anything else.
Right. I mean, think about out of yourself. Like, if you have friends, like we have friends from different background, different diet. We have friends from India who are completely vegetarian, so they don't do meat at all. We have friends from Europe, they're pescatarian. They don't do, then some people just eat chicken. And my mom, she eats halal, which we don't care about halal. So obviously it was a lot to cater. We have friends who are gluten intolerant. So it was every time we would have barbecue or something, it was we had to cater to all of them. But if you want to hang out somewhere, like, hey, let's go to a restaurant, and Kochi and I, we love burgers, like, those are a thing. But we could never convince anybody to come have burgers. Let's go to burger there, because we can find a burger place that will serve to all these different groups of people.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned the thought came in 2018, and it didn't happen until maybe a year or two later. What made you guys finally decide, okay, this is the time, let's do this? It's either we've talked enough. So what was that moment?
Well, that is a great story. Yeah. So 2018, as if you don't know, I was actually in real estate as well too. So I was a realtor, and I was also doing a lot of investment and flipping a lot of houses too. So Kochi was interested to join in flipping with me. And I told Kochi, okay, no, when you have some funds, let me know. We'll go together. We'll flip a couple of houses in Maryland, So when he had the money, he came to me. And at that point, I was like, you know what, flipping is fun and everything. I want to go back to the idea of opening a restaurant. So he comes to me, was like, you know what, hey, I got some funds. Let's flip something. And first thing I said, you know what, I don't want to flip. I have done that. I want to open a restaurant now. I want to open a bar. You gotta I was like, what do you think about it? And it's funny thing when you ask somebody about this kind of things, they're like, you know what? Oh, that's a big decision. So I'm gonna have to think about it. I'll let you know in like a month or so. Kochi was like, oh, sounds good. I'm in. Let's do it. And I was like, okay, let's go. That was it. Yeah. And from that point on, of course, we had to come up with ideas, the menu, and all that. So But it's just funny how both of us just synced at the same time.
Yeah, I actually told my wife if Julius ever propose to go in a business with him, especially restaurant or anything, I'm in. But I didn't tell Julius about it. So I was already knew that I was gonna go to business with him, but I was waiting for Julius to make
Sure.
propose.
Kochi, what was it about Julius that you told your wife, whatever Julius does, I'm in?
Yeah, I mean, he is a word of his mouth. Like whatever he says, he acts on it very promptly. He keeps his promises. Like I said, he's a number guy, so I can count on him. Numerous times he proved that I can rely on him, and he has been so far, even with the restaurant after opening a couple of years. I have two other brothers that I can say I wouldn't go business with them because they don't have the characteristic that Julius have. He's very serious to be successful, to make things happen.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so I mean, whatever I'm in, not so strong area, Julius fills it in.
Mm-hmm.
Number wise, and contacting people, making arrangement and stuff. So yeah,
That's smart, Coach. It just reminds me, a lot of times when I would talk to venture capitalists or investors, for example, that invest in companies, most of the time they say, what I do is I back the jockey, not the horse, not the person, not the horse. And you knew right away, like you just mentioned, certain traits and characteristics that Julius had, that Julius was the right jockey to back and put money in when whatever he decided it was time to do, whatever it was.
right. And he also can juggle multiple things in a timely manner, but and completing it. So that was like the huge for me. Yeah,
That's great. It sounds like you're the guy, Julius.
yeah.
Well, we both have. So thing about me is I will always start something and I want to do something. As I told you, I was in flipping houses too, and I flipped houses, made money, and I would get like lose interest in it because I want I want to learn something else. I want to do something else.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where I coach it because as you know, the restaurant business was very stressful. Whether we can do it or not, it was not even a doubt. But in the middle, and I will always think, man, why am I doing this? I already have a good job. I don't have to do this. Why am I doing this? And I have those thoughts. And if Kochi wasn't there, and most times I'll back out because I just get tired of it. I just want to do it. So Kochi had that in him. Kochi's like, no, we're gonna stick to it. We're gonna see what's going on. And Kochi gives me that push. Then I'm like, I'll see through it. Then I'll get to it and I'll start, and I'm like, yeah, it's fun. I can do it again. Kochi just gives me that little push that otherwise I'll be like, yeah, I have done it. I'm gonna do something else right now. Just jump on from like Kochi said, I do multiple things, and that's like my thing. I just go from one thing to another one pretty fast. But to get into restaurant when you have somebody like Kochi who like, no, you gotta put your foot in it and gotta stick to it. So that's why Kochi grounds me in that sense.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a kind of out of the both of us. I'm a little more risk taker, and I'm not afraid to a failure. So I just keep on trying until I succeed or get some sort of result that, like a satisfactory result, and then okay, then move on to the next one or something different. But yeah, I just don't I try not to give up.
That's the right mentality, Coach. I agree. I think in order to be successful in mostly anything, whether business or I don't know, you name it, sports, whatever it is, if you don't quit and you put the time, I mean, obviously there's people that are naturally gifted, let's say athletes, right? But if you put in the time and you don't quit, like you said, Coach, I think in the end, long term, you will be fine and you will learn, of course. But that's a great mentality to have. Let me ask you this, guys, because with partnership, and it sounds like you guys have a fantastic partnership, but I see partnership also in business like almost like marriage. And I'm sure you probably may agree with me that there's good moments, there's not so good moments, but as long as there's clear communication between everyone, it make things a little easier. How has it been? Like, how do you guys work with all that?
Well, we worked at, at the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, but in the different branches. But we never really worked together on one same project until this one. And we had so much struggle and learning more about each other, how to approach certain things, how I disliked, Julius doing something and how he disliked doing me something. And we kind of like, it was a struggle at the beginning, but we quickly learned, we have respect for each other, and, we wanted to grow and make this happen. So we also forgive each other for certain things and to make things right. And there was at the beginning of this project, we went through that, and now we understand how each one of us works and how to apply that.
Oh, I think Otto, just like you, I think most people actually ask the same questions. Like, what, especially restaurant, it's gonna be one of the toughest things you do, especially in this economy. And, it's make sure, it's gonna be tough to do with their friend, because most of the time when the big friend's gonna in the business together, it goes sour. And it is one thing, as I said, the idea of us, Kochi and I, to open the business was to have our friends come in. So Kochi and I, we talked, I was like, listen, whether this business goes down or not, that's not the reason that you and I are not going to be friends anymore. Money is not the issue here for us, that I can lose that money, but I'm not going to lose you as my friend. So that thing was pretty much clear from the beginning, and it's still very clear. So at the end of the day, but in the moment while the restaurant's running, and one thing that Kochi and I always agreed on, that we both have to be together where we stand on the restaurant. So no matter what, there's customer saying something, then the employee saying something, but when some certain kind of command or certain kind of decision that needs to come down to, Kochi and I has to be on the same page. Mm-hmm. It cannot be Kochi's giving one kind of order and I'm giving a different kind. It hasn't been to that point, and Kochi and I are not on the same page. I think that's one of the biggest reasons for us to success, that we have always been on the same page in the decisions that we have to make, whether small changes we have to make, whether things we have to improve.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and communication is the key here. In a clear communication, there is no backward or forward. It's just like what it is, explain, get it done, figure out a solution or decision that gets provided to whoever. And we always work it out, speak it out, talk it out, before we send it out. Do
you split certain roles or duties in the restaurant? For example, let's say one person's responsible for this or the other person's responsible for that. How do you go about that?
Absolutely. Obviously, as Kochi say, I'm good at numbers. So I do most of the numbers, most of the filing with the county taxes and all that. Kochi does the marketing. Kochi does scheduling, payroll, maintenance. So anything that has to do with filing number with the county, tax, pulling permits and everything, I'm in charge of those. Filing for the fees for the SECs and all that. I take in charge filing the licensing fees I'm always on top of those, and Kochi is on top of maintenance, marketing, payroll, scheduling, those kind of stuff.
And as far as employees, is that both of you? As far as the personnel?
We're both actively involved. So like today after the interview, both are gonna be on this. So both of us gonna work one day or the other, and Kochi's wife also works there. So all three of us actively involved. And again, anything regarding the employees, Kochi and I, Bethany, are always on the same page. And all the employees know that that neither of us makes a decision on our own. It comes from all three of us.
Are both of you, I know you mentioned the government before, are both of you still employed there, or how is your time allocated?
Well,
yeah, we're both there.
Yeah, we both still employed. And for me, I cut down on my sleeping time so I can, do both.
Sure.
I'm sure Julius is the same way. We talk about.
I mean, one good thing about our job that we have flexible hours, which is that in our job we can start our work at 6 a.m. and we can work till 10 o'clock at night. And as long as you're doing 8 hours, now you can do more than 8 hours a day too. all they care about that you work 80 hours in 2 weeks between 6 a.m. till 10 p.m. It doesn't matter that you work 12 hours a day. Actually, 12 hours is the maximum you can do. So some days, for example, tomorrow, I'm probably don't have to go to work till 5. So I'm just going to work from 7 in the morning till as much as I can in the office, then just go to the restaurant. Then sometimes on Saturday we don't have to go to the restaurant. I get some food. So whenever time, but if I have to ask for it, like I don't have a set schedule, but whenever a couple of hours I can put in an office, I'll do it. Then I'll take a break. I have to go to the restaurant. So I'm always doing those. So I'm constantly working in a sense, either at the restaurant or in the office.
Wow.
Yeah, same here. Luckily we both work from home, so that gives us the more flexibility because on top of the flexible hours, so we can work whenever possible, whenever we're not at the restaurant or doing a thing, or in the middle of the two, or coming home from the restaurant, work until 12, and so it flexibility is the key from the government job that we have that allows us to do both.
Well, hopefully that continues that way too, Kochi, as far as 100% remote, because what I'm seeing a lot of clients who want to bring people in,
Right.
Even just a couple days a week. But that's beneficial where you can, work from home and be productive and do several things.
I mean, it comes with challenges, definitely. I had, discipline is like, you have to maintain. Otherwise, I mean, I got myself in trouble, I lost my discipline here, there, but this quickly you can get back, and it's like, a discipline and time management. It's the key to work remotely and be able to do other stuff along with their, full-time job. Yeah.
Julius, are you still flipping houses too?
Oh, no. I stopped that in 2020 was the last. I mean, I still have my MLS ID. I'm not sure why I'm still paying for that, but yeah, no, I didn't renew my license after 2020. It expired. I didn't renew it or anything. I just didn't. No, after that, I didn't have the time. So
I was gonna say, because if you did that and didn't work and the rest, I'm like, my gosh, you really don't sleep then.
No. So yeah, absolutely not. No. The restaurant took so much time. I couldn't do it after that. But I enjoyed the real estate. It was a lot of fun. I mean, I definitely enjoyed the real estate a lot. And when things slows down, I probably renew my license again.
That's great. What would you say drives and motivates you guys?
Ooh, I'll let Julius go on this one first. Let me think on it.
Well, I mean, I have always, I think I mentioned it earlier, I am always eager to learn stuff. For me, it's not about, I learned something, I make a lot of money and be really good at it. For me, I'm just one eager. So reason that I got my real estate license is funny. My wife was actually a mortgage broker at that time. So she was going for that study. And I was like, you know what, if you're doing that, I'm going to go for the real estate class, 40-hour class, going to take this exam, see how it is. And I passed. I was like, if I passed, why not I just work? So it was because I just want to see how it is. And
Sure.
After that, I was like, yeah, that's not bad. Then it's just more of a curiosity that I just want to learn. The more things I learn, I want to see how it is. I want to see do I enjoy it or not. It's just that I want to be able to learn new things. It drives me to do new stuff. Obviously, like you say, when if this restaurant settles down, I don't have to be in the restaurants all the time. I'll probably pick up something else to learn. That has always been one of my things. I just always want to learn something new.
For me, I like challenges. I like new challenges and what the experience of it. And experience to me is like a thrill because it's like always something new or challenging, and that keeps me going, gets me moving. And so that's more important. And I'm not gonna lie, with the restaurant, obviously the money is important. It is important. With the restaurant, when I see a guest enjoying and having fun and like smiling and had a good experience, that's a good feeling. That's a great feeling. So I like that. I like that.
Kochi, you just mentioned now challenges, and it made me think. I was recently having a conversation with another client who has a restaurant too, and he was mentioning how he's having challenges hiring the right people. And I know you mentioned earlier that also I believe your wife's involved in the business. So how do you go about, I don't know if you are having challenges as far as with employees or the team members, but how do you go about, I guess, employing the right people, putting them in the right place, in the right roles for the restaurant?
I mean, we did like lost a lot of employees who started with us. So I'm a big believer as one unit, a team. So we're constantly filtering out the members, seeking out the strong, area where they need to be and stuff. If they don't succeed or don't provide the, are capable of doing the task, then we just get rid of them and replace them until we have a team that work as a unit and not as an individual.
And as I say, Kochi and I, we've been always involved, and we have involved in every single station you can imagine from. So and our thing is that Kochi and I work hard, and we only want to see that people who would expect that, like, hey, we're the owner, we're working there, and we only want people who can respect that and say, like, if they're working that much, I need to earn my money. And it wasn't that easy, honestly speaking. It was very hard, especially in the COVID time that we opened. But we're blessed since last July. I mean, we haven't had any turnover. That's why we've been doing so well now. We have all these people since last July. They've been well trained, and now we can actually focus on marketing, focus on how to have more events and catering and all that, because people there are well trained. They know what to expect. But it took a lot of work from Kochi and I. We had to set the bar. That we had to know that if Kochi and I out there working as much as we are working, you guys should be doing the same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we both, including my wife, we actually hands-on doing what needs to be done, and not rather than just telling our employees or staff, "Oh, do this, do that." We actually, show them as an example, and then have them do it or try it.
Yeah, lead by example. That's the best way.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, how big is your space?
It's about 1,800.
Yeah.
Okay. I saw the interior, great design, very unique. So whose idea was that? How did that come about? The design.
The design is our friend Connie. She's an interior designer, and then also like Julius's influence, my influences, my wife's. And we have friends who are graphic designers. She's a commercial graphic designer, and she designed the menu and some of the picture frames. We have, it's like a friends who is professional in that category, whatever we could imply it on.
Mm-hmm.
We did that. So,
well, Otto, as you say, you're gonna hear the word friends a lot, because honestly, most of our friends are involved. Like, that was our goal. So we, instead of hiring an interior designer, if we had an architect friend, we probably went with that too. We just don't have an architect friend. So it's pretty much mostly interior designer. Most of the picture graphics, the wall paint, everything is done by our friends. They're all involved in it.
Yes, because it's great. The design almost looks like it can be just corporate. This can be just one of many locations.
Yeah, we get that a lot, but no, we just got lucky, I guess. It's great to have great, awesome set of friends who are talented as they are, and hanging out with all of us. They understand like the concept we all wanted, so it's like everybody knew exactly what to provide. So it worked out for us, and we definitely are lucky to have friends, who are so as talented as they are.
What advice would you give to someone if they wanted to open a business? Maybe it's a restaurant similar to yours, or maybe it's not. Any tips that they need to look out for or focus on?
I would say we have to spend a lot of time. You want to be successful, you have to dedicate a lot of time till it's a point that you're satisfied. But in the beginning, be ready to spend a lot of time. You have to invest tons of time, and that's the best investment you can make. in the
Yeah,
beginning.
and sorry, go ahead.
Especially in the restaurant business, especially if you're coming out with a new concept without, you know, it's not a franchise, or you're not taking the concept from somebody else. If you come up with a brand new concept, it has to be hands-on to train everybody and do everything. So yeah, my biggest advice would be ready to invest a lot of time.
Yeah, and I would just add up, if you're afraid of failure or don't like taking risk or don't get your hands dirty and get to whatever you're willing to do, think twice. Think twice.
Yeah, that comes with the territory, huh?
Yeah, it will take a lot of your time and mental stress. That's a huge one. If you're not ready to deal with that, then I would just reconsider before you step in.
Speaking of failure, now that you mentioned this, Kochi, with most businesses, there are roadblocks, setbacks, and failures, some larger, some smaller, different size. Any specific failure that you guys can think of, big ones or small, doesn't matter the size, and what did you learn from them?
Oh, there's so many.
Yeah.
I mean, as I say, opening in COVID itself was extremely difficult. And always have some extra funds in your hand, because during COVID time, the construction time, the material cost went off the chart. And things went like 30-40% expensive. So always make sure you budget higher. That's one lesson learned. To obviously Kochi and I, to save that, we had to put in a lot of hours ourselves to save that cost. Hiring employees was during the COVID time was crazy, because when we opened, the Omnicron hit right at that time. Oh man, that was finding the people was tough. Again, Coach and I had to put a lot of hours in there too, just to cover till we find the right person and all that. So yeah, it's been a lot of challenges, not just one. I mean, inflation hit after the Omnicron, so to do that we had to adjust the prices and cut down cost here and there. But you continuously got to adapt and continuously have to make the change moment to survive. So it's been challenges nonstop. I honestly speaking, like I said, since last June or July, things been good, but it was first 6 months to 7 months was tough.
You were going to say something, Kochi?
Oh no, just like Julius said, finding the right staff or team. That was like a failure after failure after failure and failure. It took us quite a bit to find a good team that we're pleased with. So until you find, if you're looking for a team, until you find that team, just continue. Don't worry about failing. Just continue to do what refresh it.
Speaking about team, how do you go about finding them? Is it sort of word of mouth, or do you post somewhere, or is there a way that you have better luck than others?
We used to find few people we found through Indeed, but then couple of person we actually hired, they just came to our place, ate food, loved it, looking for a job like that. Couple of guys have been with us since we opened. It's been 2 years they've been with us. So then the rest is pretty much, I have somebody, word of mouth. They're like, I have somebody looking for a job. Then okay. So that's how it pretty much turned out. So we don't do Indeed. Like I said, in the beginning, we did a lot of Indeed on the other websites and all that. We don't do that Indeed anymore, because now we don't need to hire anybody. If we need to hire somebody, we pretty much go for the word of mouth and go from there. Now we get a lot of walk-in applications. People just coming in and just file applications. They'll email applications and all that. And obviously, since we're not hiring, I mean, at this moment, so we just keep those applications. Once we need to hire somebody, we just call them to see who's still looking or not.
Yeah, we also did I think, what is it called, Craigslist and Facebook. Mm-hmm. They didn't work out so well.
It was in the beginning when you opened. Now it's just pretty much walk-ins, and somebody emails their applications, but our first preference is word of mouth. Like people who work there, if they have somebody they know, we give that preference first.
Julius, you just mentioned earlier as far as having sufficient savings and capital. And it's so funny because I just put a post, I think it was this week or last week, about sometimes when I'm talking to startups or restaurants and they tell me, I don't know, I have 20 or $50,000 for my dream restaurant. And it's it's like, yeah, I'm like, oh my gosh. It's funny because I also had on the show the CEO and founder of a Fresh Baguette. They have several locations in the area, I think over 710 now in the DMV area. And he had to sell his business in France to sort of fund the locations he was opening here in the DMV. But that's so important, just having that lifeline of money, wherever it's coming from, whether it's bank or friends or family or savings, because you're going to need it. Because construction is going to take you longer. Build out is going to be more than you thought, especially with such a capital intensive business like a restaurant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I mean, make sure you know a good relative or family member who is well financed. You know, in my case, my father-in-law, thanks to him, and my mother helped me out. I'm sure Julius had similar now. I'm not sure. But yeah, I mean, I put all my pots in one area because, you know, it was not intentional, but it was needed to be done. It was needed to be done. So yeah, make sure that, you know, you cover what you need plus more.
Yeah. Well, luckily for me, actually, like I said, my real estate flipping was pretty good. So I saved some money from there. I had quite a few rental properties too. I did have to get rid of them, a couple of them, to have the capital to put into it to build it. Because when, you know, obviously the cost of build went time and a half, we needed extra capital. I had to sell a couple of rental properties and cash them out to pay for those. But yeah, it's no, I mean, that $20,000-$30,000 is just not, I mean, unless, like I said, and I don't think, it feels like a small, different business, you might get a loan from government. I mean, the government, nobody's going to finance a brand new concept, a restaurant. So you pretty much we had to put all the cash from our own pocket.
I know you mentioned earlier too, how I think maybe the past year or so, it's been sort of steadier, a little bit more calm with the business. What would you say though now is your biggest challenge with your role at Hangry Burger?
I think like I say, Kochi and I both are focusing on more catering now, more marketing, because one of the things we didn't do till recently in summer because we were so, you know, focused on the training the right people, having now that they all trained properly, they can handle all that. Kochi and I were more focused on marketing. Like we finally started marketing and all that. Finally started reaching out to local businesses if they want catering or something, how we can work with them. So right now, that's where our challenges are. So Kochi and I, instead of being involved in the restaurant all the time, we're more doing the behind the work, how we can bring more events into the restaurant, how we can, you know, bring in more catering or bring in, you know, do some more events. With Kochi and I, like I say, we're trying to do events once a month where we can have a DJ because Kochi's been a DJ for a long time and we have friends been DJing for a long time. So once a month, we have planning on just having our friends coming and play some music and everything too. So we're just focusing on those things right now.
Yeah, I mean, our store location in a way, it's not visible from the roadside or anything unless you actually right in front of it. So our challenge still is kind of like letting our neighborhood know that we are there. Still, we're looking to spread that, how we can do with the social media or, you know, a lot of places are gated community there. They don't allow soliciting. So, and sending out email or anything, invitation, it costs a lot of money, even though it's digital. So that's kind of like the we still have that sort of challenges, but you know, social media marketing, that brings out a lot of, you know, guests from outside the neighborhood.
We're also very much involved in the local community. We do fundraisers for schools pretty much when the school starts, and that happens every week. So before marketing, the one way that we reached out to people was by doing these fundraisers. Or all the schools are interested in doing fundraisers with us, and that was pretty much one of the biggest way we connected with the local people and the people in the community.
That's great. What do you know now that you wish you would have known at the start of your business career?
That's a good question.
That's a good question. Yeah. Marketing. I did not know much about marketing as much as I do now. Like, we would start what we're doing now. I would start that from the beginning if I would have known that how it's going to go. So it would have helped us a lot. That's one. And hiring the right more through what do you call it? Like screening for hiring. That's the second, I would say. And also the funding. Didn't think we were gonna go over that much. So those are the three things comes to my mind.
Yeah, for me, it was definitely the funding. The funding was the big thing. That it's not the funding as well too. It's the process of the permits and all that. All the little small things that county requires, nitpick and all that. I mean, there's a lot of things we learned in that regard. It's interesting, but yeah, those are the things that now if you have to open a second one or something, we'll be much more prepared when it comes to zoning, planning, and all that. We will know. I mean, I didn't even know that every store has to have like a parking lot. There has to be a certain amount of parking spaces designated. Otherwise, they're not going to give you a permit for the restaurant or something. So I didn't even know that. So I learned a lot in that area.
That's crazy. I can't even imagine, as far as, even now when I'm working with clients, that things are taking longer with the whole permitting process. Now, you were in the middle of COVID. I can't imagine how it was for you guys then. It must have been crazy.
It was there was like one permit was like took us like 2 months or something.
Wow.
Everything took us time. I mean, because even the we had to pay for expedited process. Even that took us time, because before they're like, oh, an expedited process will get in a week. That will take, but now it takes 4 weeks, because everything was done online and everything was there's some kind of delay. So everything it was just
and nobody was in the office, so you couldn't make a phone call to talk to actually someone on the phone. So it had to be done online chatting or some sort of recorded machine. You just yes no kind of thing.
Yeah, it was during the COVID time. It was crazy. I don't know how it is now, but yeah, 2020 was tough. 2021 was tough.
What are you most excited about? What does the future look like for you and Hangry Burger?
Believe it I'm really excited about those the late nights. Honestly, we're gonna have the friends DJ and something. Kind of excited about those now. Like I say, again, that's kind of like what Coach and I dreamed of, and it's feel like finally people are gonna come in, and our friends gonna come in, hang out. We're gonna play music, chill. Kind of excited about that.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to open a couple of more, different areas, so people know they can have this experience. I mean, I said Hangry Burger is an experience because our concept is a little different. We have the full bar, free arcades, and it's a fun place to be. At least we tried and make it, a fun place to be. And like Julia said, having a late night, having our friends DJing, and have fun. I mean, basically, have that experience for different areas, different for everybody else.
That's great. I'm actually glad you mentioned now, Koji, as far as the full bar and the arcade, just because with DJing, I'm thinking that'll be perfect, but you have it. That's fantastic.
Yeah. No, yeah, it is. I mean, I've seen like, young kid sitting on a high chair playing arcade to a 75 elder couple playing together, so that is beautiful to me, so you see the age difference and they're doing the same thing and having the same experience, or similar experience. So that's beautiful to me. So I have that in many places I can. That'd be great.
Arcade was a big part of our life when we were growing up too, and we wanted to bring that to everybody in the community. I feel like most of the community people, the kids nowadays, they play a lot of video games on their computers and all that. There's no interactions with each other. And I'll honestly believe not, it's the younger kids who comes, they love the arcade machine. The arcade machine has like free 20 games right now, or 15, 20 games from 80s and 90s, from Galaga to Pac-Man, to Street Fighter, and the kids come in, they play it. The adults come in, they play. It just looks to see like, hey, look, this two random person doesn't know each other, but they're on the arcade machine. They're having a good time.
I love that. And then hopefully they stay longer, and that means they buy more.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, like I say, most people doesn't even care. Sometimes like, oh, we're just playing games. We didn't realize our food was ready.
Yeah. You mentioned going forward as far as maybe more locations. Are you thinking similar concept with the same model, same name, keep the same brand, or different?
Yeah, so it's going to be the same concept. Maybe with outdoor seating, and Julius wants to like speak easy kind of thing when it comes to the bar. So something resembles
but
that.
It'll be definitely the same food menu. The alcohol menu might be different, like our cocktail menu might be different based on the locations and all that. But if once we open that, it's based on which location are we opening, with depending on the demographics. We'll come up with what kind of bar we want. Do we want outdoor sitting or not? But we definitely want the same menu. Our menu is unique, has a lot to offer, and we feel like there's people coming from like a couple hours drive on the weekend just to get food from us, like West Virginia, Fredericksburg. So one thing really popular is everything in our restaurant is gluten-free. So it's very big in the gluten-free community. As I said, our friends are gluten intolerant as well too. So we kind of focused on that. And I didn't realize that gluten-free community is so large in this area. There's people come from, on the weekend, there's people come from like a couple hours away just to have food here, because there's people come in, they're like, we haven't had wings and tenders in 10 years. We haven't had onion rings in 10 years. So they're like, it feels so good to see that happiness in their face. That's what success means to us, actually, honestly speaking. The people, like, they thank us, like, and thank you for doing this. And I didn't realize the struggle that they had, that, they haven't had this for 10 years, or they have to drive a couple of hours just to get this.
Yeah.
That's great. I'm excited. More Hangry Burgers in the future.
Well, thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Coming to an end here soon. When you're not busy, I know you're busy life, working, the restaurant, I'm sure family life. What do you like to do for fun in your free time?
For me, it's maybe get a couple of more hours of sleep, because I don't get that much, and spend time with my family. I see Julius, at work and stuff. So, and go different places, go on a different country, so that's in the future for me.
Well, I have a 4-year-old. So the free time that I have, I'll pretty much at this point spend some time with him till, because the cute time is here right now. So it's a lot of fun being with my 4-year-old. So whatever time I can, I try to spend with him. But, I do miss, the pre-COVID and everything. Kochi used to have a show where he has do a show for 2 hours, at like a DJ for 2 hours on the radio stations, and we used to hang out on his place all the time on Friday. I kind of miss that too. So hopefully we can start doing that once a month in our restaurant. So I'm kind of looking forward to that.
Oh, that's
yeah,
nice.
it used to be our Friday night. Julius would come over. It would be every single Friday night, not a skipped Friday. So it was our night, and I would cook pasta or burger or some other cookout, and that was our night.
Kochi he had a radio show for 2 hours on every Friday night, that will live broadcast. And not only me, like a couple other friends will come over. So it was just a Friday night thing for us.
Yeah.
Maybe now I'll be transferred to the Hangry Burger location.
Yeah, that's the plan. That's the plan.
It's happening once a month. Yeah.
If people want to learn more about you, the business, where are you located? Where can they find out more information, please?
I am pretty much on the every platform, social media platform, Facebook, Twitter.
You can find us the Hangry Burger Springfield on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I think it's either Hangry Burger Springfield or look for Hangry Burger Virginia. We're the only Hangry Burger in this area, so we'll come up pretty fast. If you Google us, Hangry Burger Springfield or Hangry Burger Virginia, we're probably the only one who will come up in Springfield. I hope so, because I know there's a lot of Hangry Joes out there, and I don't know if there's another Hangry Burger came out or not, but as far as I know, we're the only one. So yeah, find us on Facebook, Hangry Burger Virginia or Hangry Burger Springfield. Same with the Instagram and TikTok.
Great. Julius, Kochi, thank you so much for coming on today. I had a great time.
Thank you so much. And stop by someday, and when you do, give us a text. We'd love to meet you in person, okay?
Oh, definitely. You have to.
All right. Thank you.
Take care.
Your food is on us, all right?
Thank you.